Welcome back to Baseball Books and Banter with me, your host, Nicole. I had recorded this intro already. For some reason, it didn't record right, was corrupted, so now I got to do it again. So hopefully I remembered what I said. If not, you won't know because you'll never see the original. So today's interview is with Lynn Slaughter, fellow Guppy, fellow Sisters in Crime member. Very excited to chat with her. I just finished her adult mystery, Missed Q, this morning. I sat by the lake in Abington and read to finish it up. And as someone who loves dance and loves murder, it was right up my alley. And I'm kind of excited to see where the sequel goes, which she's working on now. So we talk a little bit about that, about how writing a series is different from writing a standalone, from writing an adult mystery versus a YA mystery, a young adult mystery, and also a lot about her dance background, which is super cool because I'm fascinated by people that got to have an outlet for that creativity. After college, I had to stop dancing. Well, I didn't have to, but I did because money, and I miss it. So, sorry, my nose is really itchy for those that are watching on YouTube. I'm so sorry. But first, before we get into that, things that I'm obsessed with this week. First, we'll talk about my earrings. I remember talking about those. These are it was an Instagram ad, Femme de Bloom. And I got these book ones. I've got Nancy Drew book ones. I got Rainbow Bright, which I was the biggest Rainbow Bright girly when I was a wee little lass. More book ones. Just fun. Cats, obviously. The other thing that we're obsessed with this week is the fact that TikTok is being banned. I mean, it's not fun, but it's happening tomorrow. This bookshelf right behind me here, for those who are watching on the live video, or not the live video, the video, this lovely turning bookshelf, I put it together yesterday, and it's my new favorite obsession, and I bought it off TikTok Shop. So, that's a bummer that that's gone now. What else? I'm going to miss all my TikTok, the things I followed, like Mommy Farmer, the Sparrow Therapy Pack, Hammy and Olivia, now it's just Hammy, who was at the Washington Capitals game. So corgis and hockey, that's always fun. I'm just going to miss it. And cat videos and dumb lip sync videos. I'm also obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. I just watched the 3rd episode now. And the song Alter Ego by Doechii, which was the lip sync song, and now I'm obsessed with it, and it's still playing. So Alter Ego by Doechii is amazing. Love it. Na 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 na, and I won't sing the rest because I don't know if that's illegal. Sports-wise, that I'm obsessed with, the Red Sox have done okay this offseason. Pitchers and catchers report on the 12th of February, so I'm very excited about that. I feel like it's been too long, so we'll see how this season goes. Excuse me. The Celtics are Celticing. They've had a couple bumps this year, but they're still wicked good. So we'll see what happens. The Bruins, they've also hit a bunch of bumps, but they are on a 2-game win streak, I believe, and they play today. And so right after I record this, I will be moving to my couch. It's also the divisional round of the playoffs. In NFL, and I'm cheering. I mean, I kind of want a Lions-Bills Super Bowl, but I wouldn't be mad if the Commanders won. My brother worked for the Commanders before they were the Commanders for a summer with the old ownership group, so I've always kind of cheered for them while I lived down there. Obviously, the Bills are the Patriots' nemesis. Not nemesis. I guess we hate the Jets more than we hate the Bills, but Josh Allen seems lovely, and so I kind of want them to win also because they haven't had one. And so we'll see. The rest of the teams I could care less. The one thing I really know is I really can't do another Kansas City one, and I think I talked about this before. I get why people hated the Patriots during the dynasty because I hate the Chiefs right now. I just can't. They're annoying, and they keep winning for some reason, even though they're just okay. But speaking of the Patriots, we have a new coach, Mike Vrabel. I was a Gerard Mayo girly. I'm kind of bummed that he got run out of town, but I don't own the team, so it's not my business to say. I do love me some Mike Vrabel, so maybe it'll be all right. But without further ado, what you really came for was my chat with Lynn. We talked dance, we talked books. We didn't get fully into her fine arts degree, her master's degree in fiction. Maybe next time when her next book comes out. But for now, take a listen and let me know what you think. Welcome back. And my guest today is the amazing Lynn Slaughter. And the reason I say the amazing, and I was going to tell this to her, and then I'm like, why am I not recording? I just finished Missed Q this morning. Um, and it was delightful because when you're reading it, this is just going to be me gushing for a minute. When you're reading it, you feel like you're watching it on TV. Do you know what I mean? Like I could see it being a procedural cop show.
Oh, well, great.
So
Thank you.
FYI. And look at, I'm fixing my brow while we're on YouTube. That's nice. I forgot that we were recording. And I also love, you don't know this about me, but I danced for 20 plus years as well. I have a minor in dance.
Oh my gosh.
So as those that have read your book know, there's a very heavy dance subplot. And then I
Right.
was looking through the notes and I was like, oh, she was a dancer too. Oh, she's got a lot of, so before we dive right in, because I'm very cheap and we only have the 30-minute Zoom, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. As Nicole mentioned, I spent most of my career as a professional dancer and dance educator. And then when age and injury caught up with me and I retired, I got this idea for a young adult novel about a young dancer who has all kinds of personal and family problems and is trying to figure out uh, something that her father has been keeping from her about a big secret. And so that turned into my first novel while I danced. And then I got hooked on
Yep.
writing fiction and I went back to school. I got my MFA in writing popular fiction from Seton Hill University. And then I just kept going. So that's me in a nutshell.
And you're in Louisville. Louisville, did I say it right?
Oh, Kentucky. I'm originally from New York and Connecticut, but many years ago, I moved to Louisville to teach at the Youth Performing Arts School here. And then I just stayed.
Yeah.
So here I am. I never thought I would end up in Louisville, Kentucky, but here I am.
I'm sure. We're in Connecticut.
Greenwich.
Oh, right on the, okay. Yep. That's why you say Connecticut, New York, because it's literally,
Yes, very
literally
close.
what it is.
Right
Yeah.
next door. Right.
My family's from Meriden. We're more central Connecticut. So we're a little
Okay.
bit different, but I drive to DC a lot to visit family and
Right.
on 95 or
Oh, yes.
sometimes we go the Merritt Parkway, which is always everybody's favorite because there's always
That's right.
construction and there's always slowdowns. But
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yes.
that's quite a difference going from the New Yorkie area to like,
Yes.
I mean, I saw you were in Michigan for a while, uh,
Yes.
all over, but
I've been all over.
yeah,
Yeah.
but how was that? How was that? Was that like a culture shock to go from?
Well, I think it's been I think it's yes, a little bit, but because I lived all over the place. My husband and I were both in dance. We met in a dance company, so we were all over the place, going wherever work was. So I've lived in Oklahoma and Michigan and Kentucky and obviously New York and Connecticut. So I think and also I was a sociology major. So I think that I've always been sort of interested in subcultures, and each place has a pretty distinctive subculture.
That's
So
very true. Yeah.
different.
Do
Yeah.
you think your sociology background influenced your creative mind to write young adult? Because that is kind of, it's a two different, adult fiction is different from young adult fiction.
Yes. I think so. Well, I think basically I've always been very interested in people
Hmm.
and studying people. I didn't even know what sociology was when I got to college. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's a whole major where you can just study about people. And people really interested me. And then the teenage thing, I think all the years that I was not only performing, but I was also teaching. And teenagers happen to be my favorite age group to work with. So And I also think that adolescence is such a dramatic period in our lives.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out all these basic issues of identity, who we are, who we want to be, who we want to love, et cetera, et cetera. So that seemed like a very intense period in our lives that can be quite life-changing.
Sure.
So I was very drawn to writing about that.
Yeah. And there's plenty of drama, so you'll never
Yeah,
run out of
plenty of
ideas.
drama. That's right. That's right.
As someone
Major drama.
who remembers her teenage years not fondly, it's
Okay.
very dramatic. But
Right.
yeah, it just so, and because you started with the young adult, what made you
Yes.
want to seg into adult fiction, which Miss Q is adult,
Yes.
very adult. No, wait,
Yeah.
let me caveat, time out. I don't mean spicy adult. I mean,
Very adult.
yeah,
Yeah.
it talks about adult themes, marriage,
Yes.
alcoholism,
Right.
the need to feel wanted, the need to feel that you're in control, that kind of stuff. Adult themes,
Right.
but
Right. Well,
not spicy. Let me put it that
those things can be issues too.
way.
That alcoholism and
Mm,
so can also be issues for adolescents. But that book was an accident.
mm,
What happened was I had this very good friend, and she challenged me to be in this critique group that would be working on short stories for Malice Domestic's anthology called Murder Most Theatrical.
okay,
She
yep.
thought of me because I had a background in the performing arts. So I really wasn't a short story writer, but I got this kind of image of this ballerina who failed to wake up in Act 3 of Romeo and Juliet. And then and her death is quite suspicious. So then I just wrote this short story about this. Okay, well, after I finished writing this story and it did appear in the anthology, I realized I didn't have a chance in the confines of short
Mm,
fiction to really explore what was going on for this detective and what was really going on for this uh, victim
mm.
who died and so forth. And I wanted to really get into their lives and get into those characters. So I decided to expand it into a novel. And that's how Miss Q came about.
Yeah, I love that. And then I saw on your website you're working on the second in
Yes, a
Ryan
sequel.
O'Connor's. Yeah, so that's,
A
and
sequel.
it's football based.
I'm sorry.
It's football based. Was it football based?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is kind of interesting, Nicole. I'm glad you asked about that because it's the first time that I've written a book that has nothing to do with the performing arts.
Right. Well,
But it's been kind of fun just to push
yeah.
myself in different directions.
I mean, we can say football's a little theatrical at times
Right,
as we're leading
right.
into division weekend tonight today at four
That's
o'clock.
right.
There's a lot of drama. There's a lot. I mean, I know for the Bruins, the hockey team, we're going through a little. Oh, he doesn't like him, and they don't want to talk to each other. So it's very
Right.
dramatic. So
Oh, yes.
it is
Oh,
very
yes. That's
theatrical. So I don't think it's too
right.
far away from what you're used to.
That's true.
Just more, well, no, because even ballet, oh God, I love ballet dancers, men ballet dancers, because they're strong and all of that.
Yes.
But it's like a little bit different
Yes. Different.
feel.
Yeah, but
No pun intended.
you're right, it is performance
Yep.
based. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening off the field
Mm-hmm.
as well as on the field, which is the same for the performing arts. What's going on backstage is often every bit, if not more dramatic than what you're seeing on stage. So,
Oh, that's amazing. So I'm excited for that, obviously, because like I said, I just finished reading it today, and I was like, oh, I want to know what, because again, it's like a TV show. It's very
yeah,
vivid. Um, and I will tell you just from the jump, I'm Team Hank all the way, and I need good things to happen to both of them. So I'm very nervous about the second book. Let me just throw that out there right now. If you're in the midst of revising,
okay.
I have very strong opinions about Hank and Jack. So, um, but that's really interesting how you kind of took a short story and fleshed it out. Do you still write short stories after you did the one, or you're like, no, I'm good, I'm all set?
I keep thinking I should, but for whatever reason, Nicole,
Yeah,
my ideas seem to come in novel form.
right.
I really admire short story writers
So,
because I I think, wow, you know, they can get such a small space, get such a
yeah,
wonderful story, but it's not how my brain naturally works.
me too. I'm the same way. I've tried short. I have a couple of short stories, but they don't. I feel like they're so rushed, and I'm like, I don't want to rush it. I'm like, oh God, I want
Yeah,
to put more words. I like that novella size, like right in between short and long. That's like a perfect,
that's good.
you know,
Yeah.
because then I could say a little bit more. But yeah, like I know so many friends. Claire Murray's one who exclusively writes short stories, and they're
Yes.
great. And
And yes, she's good.
Barb
Yeah.
Goffman, I was like, oh my God, all of you ladies
Oh,
do
yeah.
short stories. But to have your first short story, your first and only short story get put in an anthology, that's not too shabby. Let's just put it
I
that
was,
way.
I was lucky.
Yeah. Are you going to be at Malice this year?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh,
Yay.
good. We'll have to get together.
I know I should put like a call out to all the people that have been on the podcast and be like, let's meet for drinks in the lobby. I will say at the jump that I like early. So I was like, maybe breakfast because I don't know if I can stay up past 8 o'clock. That's a little too late for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Malice and I'm really excited this year. I think it's going to be really good. Again, it's always a good one. And then you should
it
come
is.
up to New England in November for the crime bake. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
really
we have a
should.
really good time every year. And
Okay.
I don't know if you know Lori Raider Day. She,
Yes, I mean,
yeah,
I know of her.
yeah,
That-
me too. I don't
yeah.
know her, but she's our guest of honor this year, and she's super nice and super.
Right. Yeah.
So, just
Yeah.
that's my little spiel. So let's talk about your new book that just came out literally
Right.
4 days ago.
Right.
Missing Mom. Again, got a dance theme, which is good.
Yes,
Nice.
that's true. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that book is, I think, really about kind of hope and resilience in the face of some pretty awful things. In the space of 1 year,
Hmm.
this young woman who's an aspiring ballet dancer not only has her mother abruptly go missing, but in addition, she makes a very devastating discovery about her dad. And it really is about her coming of age and deciding, well, this is my life now, and I'm going to move forward with it. Um, but it a lot of the book is about her search for what happened to her mother. Of course, there's a romance,
Of
of
course,
course,
there has to be.
with a fellow dancer,
I
and
mean,
of course, I met my husband at a dance company, so
yeah.
uh, he partially inspired that particular young man. Um,
Oh,
and uh, and then she's also very worried about her little sister, who suddenly seems very reluctant to spend any time with their father. But one thing that was a little different about this book for me is that threaded throughout the story of this young woman is also the story of another woman nearly 20 years earlier whose escape from an abusive marriage turns out to be related to the investigation of the young girl whose mom has gone missing. And so I guess that's another theme of the book is that what can happen many decades earlier should have reverberations later on.
yeah.
And that was fun for me, Nicole, just to try something different of I think they call it a time slip novel. I didn't
Okay.
even know that.
Yeah.
But you know, where you have characters who are at different times,
Yeah.
uh, but they but their stories turn out to be linked in some way. So,
Did you
so
find
that's
that
a little
hard?
bit of the book.
Did you find that hard kind of trying to make sure that the 20 years in the past and that they make sense, that they're not too disparate, that
Um, No, I guess because I guess because I knew that
hmm,
they were going to be related. And then, you know, I get really immersed in these characters. And you probably do this too, but they become very real to me. they're like real people.
Oh, make fun of
So,
you. Yeah. 100%.
so, sometimes even more real than the people who are real.
I
Uh,
mean, you're not
so,
wrong.
yeah, I didn't find that too hard.
Okay. And um,
So,
so that just came out. What's kind of your publishing process? Are you an indie published? How do you kind of get those books out and all that good stuff?
well, I'm traditionally published, but with a small press.
Ah, okay.
So, it's it's somewhere in between independently published
Right.
and Big Five published. It's in that middle area.
Yeah.
But yes, I published. They've now done my last four books. It's
Oh,
called
wow.
Lunch Books, and their young adult imprint is called Fire and Ice. And I've been very, very happy with them. They've been very good to me, and I like them.
Yeah. That's
So
important.
I'm
People,
sorry.
that's important to
It
actually,
is
yeah.
important. I mean, they like me and I like them.
Right.
So,
Because then you don't have the conflict of just the conflict that can arise from publishing. I mean,
yes, yes.
there's a lot out there that can. I did a talk at my library last week for their writing group, and I was like, you guys, if you don't Google the people that you who are reaching out to you, you need to go to Writers Beware,
Right.
talk to people that are published with them. Like that's the best way, because
Yeah,
writers, we're not known to be we don't sugarcoat things a lot. We will
that's
tell you what we're unhappy with. We'll tell you what we're happy with too, and if we're happy, we're happy. So i
that's true.
I think that it's as much a personal relationship as it is a business arrangement, because
Yes, it is.
if you're not happy, you're not going to want to write,
That's right. That's
and they're not happy, they're not going to want to pay you to write or pay you royalties to write or whatever.
whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
whenever
Right.
they come in.
Yeah.
That's really cool. How did you get them? Did you agent? Did you just
Well,
them?
this is kind of an interesting story, Nicole. I had an agent,
Hmm.
uh, and then I wrote a book called Leisha's Song,
Hmm.
which was about a young woman of color who's an aspiring classical singer. And basically, my agent refused to submit it because I was writing outside my identity group.
Hmm.
I felt that I was able to do this reasonably respectfully
Sure.
because I had lived and worked in an African American community and I happen to have an African American grandson I'm very close to. So, but she refused. So we ended up amicably
Yep.
separating. Then after that, I still really believed in this book. So then that's when I began looking at small presses that didn't require an agent to submit to. And that is, I got 4 or 5 folks who were kind of interested. And that's when I went with Melange Books. I just really liked them.
Yeah.
Um, so that's how that happened. But there are a lot of small presses out there. Of course, you have to do your research, make sure that it's
They're
going to
legit.
be around 10
Yeah.
minutes from now. But that's how I ended up with them.
When did you start with them?
I think, let's see, the first book was Leisha's Song, and I think that came out in maybe 2021.
Okay, so a while.
2021, so not a long time ago.
No, I mean
Yeah.
mid-pandemic, which is always
Yes.
fun.
Oh gosh.
I know my first book came out 6 months before the pandemic hit. So I was like, promote, promote,
Holy
promote, and then
smokes.
everything shuts down. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
how am I supposed to promote
Time.
a baseball book when there's no baseball being played, guys? Like, you guys are killing me. Like, stop it. So that was not fun. And then last year, or 2022, when the second one came out, the Red Sox decided to suck. And so I was like, how am I supposed to sell my book when you guys don't play well? So the third book is supposedly coming out this year. So we'll see if the Red Sox
Oh, that's exciting.
do something. Well, speaking of publishers, there's a little publishing stuff that I'm trying to muddle through right now to get it published, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna.
Okay.
I profess to everybody it's done and it's ready. So I just started writing book 4, so we'll see what happens. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you find, well, this is your first series now that you're writing the O'Connor the sequel, right? You
Right.
haven't done sequels or continuations before, right?
I've never done that. I've always had standalones.
How
So
are
that's
you
part of,
how are you finding that kind of experience?
I like it. I think
Yeah.
it's fun. I think it's interesting to sort of, go with a character over a period of time and see how they grow and change and how their life changes and so forth. So I'm enjoying that as well. I
Yeah.
am.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like because then you live with the characters longer and you know their
Yeah.
quirks.
Right.
It might be fun just to write a one. I do have in my head, speaking of short stories that I don't write, in my head, there's a character I love in my books called Gray, and he's like this mysterious, like spy type guy. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
really want to write his story, but like, I just can't wrap my head around how to do it because people who read the third book will learn that he knows how to fly helicopters. How does he know how to fly helicopters? Well, that's a great story that I'll have to write someday. Uh,
Right.
so I
Right.
love being able to like find these little new characters and kind of introduce them. I thought in Missed Q, you, I feel this way about my baseball book too. It doesn't hit you over the head with the ballet. It doesn't hit you over the head with baseball in mind, but
Mm,
there's just enough in there that
mm.
makes you interested
Yeah.
and also go, oh, I want to know more about that. Like I want to know more about a ballet company that what
Hmm.
kind of, I mean, because you've been in dance companies, but the it's almost like a young adult novel behind the
Yes.
scenes.
Yes.
Lots of drama, lots of action, which is probably
Right.
why they make good murder scenes. Because
Right.
I'm actually reading another book right now. It's Arena Shapiro's Tate and Bell Mysteries. It's on NetGalley and it's called Murder at the Orpheum Theater. And it's funny because I was reading your book and then I switched over to this one. It's a historical, and the two characters die in Romeo and Juliet on stage. And I'm like, well, this is weird. This is a weird parallel that they're both in Romeo and Juliet. Theirs is an acting one, yours is obviously ballet. So two different.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Romeo and Juliet on stage in ballet. Giselle's
Really?
my favorite. If we have to pick a favorite ballet, just I love Giselle. Coppelia was my first ballet ever. Giselle's my favorite. Music, dancing, vengeful women. I love it. Like that's my jam.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Um, so with your dance background, because now I'm fascinated, what made you gravitate towards modern dance versus another dance style?
Hmm.
Or do you know? Or just
Well,
happened?
I think modern dance, I found there are a lot of factors involved. Um, One was that Nicole, I had a father. I was raised by a single parent until I was 12. He did not want me to dance.
Oh,
In fact, I was not allowed to take dance classes my senior year in high school and or apply to a college with a dance major. So so there was definite resistance. So I'm pretty unusual in that I didn't really start studying dance intensively, like every day kind of studying dance until I had graduated from college.
wow.
I mean, not that I hadn't danced before, but
Right.
it's more, a couple times a week kind of thing. And so I was much too old to have become a ballet dancer. First of all, but second of all, I think I was very attracted to the expressiveness of modern dance, the creative aspect of it. That I found very exciting. And so it was a little bit of, I couldn't have been a ballet dancer even if I'd wanted to, although I studied ballet for
Yeah,
decades. I
you
love ballet.
have to. Yeah, me too.
And I, I've always thought it was wonderful training for absolutely any genre of dance that you'd go into. But a lot of it was that push-pull thing. I was too old, and I really thought modern dance was cool.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say if people are interested in the dance portion of your life, you do have a great gallery on your website of dance pictures.
Oh, well,
And
thank you.
I was scrolling through, I was like, oh, I love dance. I miss dance. I want to go back to dance.
Where
Um,
did you study dance,
so
Nicole?
I wasn't like pro. I went
Um,
to Curry College here in Massachusetts, Milton.
uh-huh.
Professor Barbara Scholes
Oh,
was my
okay.
professor. So I did all 4 years of ballet, um, and then just did stuff in the school with the school, and
Yeah.
then,
Mhm.
graduated. And then I had to go get a job and be like employed and do like real work because I have a spending problem. So I know I had to like back away from dance. And then I just started recently taking adult classes.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
but I had to stop that because they're all at nighttime. And I need people to do like, I did one tap class, she had it during lunchtime. And I was like, this is
Right.
perfect because I work from home now. So I'm like,
Yes.
I can take 45 minutes,
Right.
go tap, then come
Right.
back and
Yeah.
work. Because if
Right.
I do it at 8 o'clock at night, then I'm up all night because then you get that little jolt of,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's
Right.
really hard for me to, and I'm in, like I said, I wake up at like 5 in the morning. So I'm like, I can't do these night classes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm working on it. But yeah, ballet is my jam. I was too short and too, let's see, a good word, stocky, husky, however you want to say it, to be a ballet dancer. And I had flat feet. So the
But
turn,
other than that,
yeah, I never did point. It was always just regular, and like jazz. I was on dance team, stuff like that. Like
yeah.
my high school dream was to be like Britney Spears backup dancer. Like that was kind of where I was
Oh,
going.
okay.
Uh, Obviously that didn't happen. And now I write about baseball, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, the dancing stuff just fascinates me, especially people. I'm sure you know Lori Robbins. She
Yes.
heard her at first
Love
position.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I love people that can tie that other creative side
Right.
into, well, murders basically, which is my other favorite
Yes.
thing. So favorite,
Right.
say it like
Right.
that.
She's
Um,
great. Yeah.
like when you met your husband, he was also a dancer, right? Like
Yes,
he's a
he joined the dance company I was in, and the rest is history.
and I love your cat's name, Lucy. Is Lucy still with us?
Yes,
Okay, good.
Lacey Lou. Right.
Lou, I love her. What kind of cat? This is
Lacey.
the other part of my pet podcast is talking about cats. So
Yes. Yeah, she's great.
yeah, what kind of cat is she?
Well, she's from the Humane Society.
Nice.
I don't know.
Even
She's
better.
great.
Okay, that works. I'm surprised right now that I don't have at least one cat circling. I think
Right.
we're supposed to get snow tomorrow up here. I think you might get
Oh,
a little weather, maybe ice and rain.
yes.
Uh,
Right.
and so I think they're all starting to hunker down to like
Yeah.
comfortable. And I'm like, where are my cats? It's lunchtime. We
I
should be hanging out together. Of
know.
course, then when I don't like want to hang out with them, then they're always around. So
Yeah.
I have to get my cat brain on to be like aloof and
Right.
them away.
Right.
Um, so you're working on the second in the Caitlin O'Connor. You just released Missing Mom.
Yes.
Anything else on your horizon coming up, or is the sequel really what you're focused on?
Right now, I'm focused on the sequel, and I'm also in the throes of because I'm getting ready to submit that. So I'm going through now and
Nice.
doing the final.
Yep.
Uh, but I'm also trying to figure out what I want to do next, and I have like 5 or 6
Good.
ideas, and I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So you know how that is.
Yeah. Are you an outliner? Are you a pantser? Are you a plotter with your
I'm
writing?
somewhere in between. I don't outline, but I usually have, by the time I start writing, I've done a lot of work on the characters. I kind of know where I'm starting and I kind of know where I'm going to end up.
Yep.
But
The middle part, the murky
yes,
middle. You got to
and
write that out.
things always change.
Yep.
I mean, things always change in the course of writing. What I anticipated doing when I expanded Miss Pugh from a short story to a novel, by the end, the murderer had changed.
Yeah.
The identity of the murderer had
Yeah.
changed when I wrote the short story.
No,
So,
100%.
you know,
It happens.
things will happen. Things will,
As a writer,
I'm
I get it.
amazed at these people who carefully outline and then it's exactly what they planned,
Yeah.
because that never works for me.
I keep thinking I'm going to be like an outliner for like my next book. I'm going to outline, and then I start to
Yes,
outline. I'm like, no, this is not going to work.
right.
I'm like you. I need I know my characters, I need the general frame of what's going to happen.
Right,
I.e.,
right.
oh, they're going to go to Vermont and there's going to be an eclipse and then somebody dies. But don't go much past that. Like
Yeah,
working with I'm working trying to get with Level Best Books now, and she's like, oh, send me your ideas for your next 3 books. I'm like, ideas for my next 3 books? I'm not there yet. Like I just started writing it. And so I have to that's kind of nice for me to go, I should think about moving
right.
the series on.
Yes, right.
We have about 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure I get book recommendations from you, or if you have anything you'd like to recommend to the wider audience, to the
I
type of
I
listener.
actually made some notes here. Yes, I have 3 books. And they come from, I actually was writing for Shepherds a list article, kind of a listing
Oh,
of
okay.
about missing mothers. And
Hmm.
there were 2 that I especially like. One is called Missing by Erin Kingsley. And that is about 2 adult daughters whose mother just inexplicably chooses to end her life by drowning in
Wow.
the sea by her home. And these daughters have never really gotten along. They've always been really different. And they're trying not only to figure out why their mother would have done this, but in the course of that, they're mending their relationship. And it's really very touching how they finally figure out that, yeah, there really is a bond there.
Yeah.
That's one book.
Okay.
Then another book is called Like Mother, Like Daughter, and that's by Kimberly McCrate. And that's about um, a college-age daughter's search for her mother who is inexplicably gone missing.
Huh.
And in the course of doing this, she comes to realize that her whole narrative about her life and her parents has been incorrect.
Hmm.
That the father that she revered as the hero is actually, and the mother, whom she's always resented for being so controlling, she finally realizes that her mother had this horrible childhood, and that's why she's extremely overprotective.
Hmm.
So anyway, I think the book is ultimately a love story between a mother and a daughter.
Yeah.
They come to realize who they really are and what their relationship really is. So that's a good book. Then I did this listing recently for Crime Reads about mystery romances.
Okay.
And this was one I really loved. It's called A Lady's Guide to Mischief and Mayhem.
I think I have that somewhere in this
I
pile.
bet you have it.
I
I bet
know.
you
It's like somewhere here.
it's somewhere here by Amanda Collins. And that's set, as you probably know, in 1865 London. And Lady Catherine Bascombe has inherited her husband's newspaper, and she decides she's going to do this sleuthing, and then she gets tangled up with a Scotland Yard detective, and
Oh,
oh, it's wonderful.
that
I
is
mean,
so up my alley.
it is
Cannot
so
wait.
fun. It is
Yeah.
so fun. They're sparring with each other, and their dialogue. It's just lovely.
Well,
So
now that's going to
those are
be,
my 3
I'm going
recommendations.
to have to pull it out of somewhere in here. I did just go through this yesterday, so I should know where it is somewhere, but
Probably there. Yeah,
um,
probably there somewhere.
I know it is because I can picture the cover. It's like
Yeah.
teal and
Yes.
it's got, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to look for it now, Nicole. You're in the middle of an interview. Stop it. Because I did just finish a big book, so I'm like, okay, now I need to find another book.
Right.
Um, where
Right.
are you planning any now that the missing mom is out, any promo anywhere else? Are you going to be anywhere? Are you going to be on other sites, or should they just follow your website to get the latest?
Well, I mean, the website is probably the most basic, but I am, doing a few interviews. I think I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a radio show I'm going to be on. And then I've been on Briggs on Books. He's a lovely guy who interviews authors. And yesterday, I think it was that I was being on an interview with a guy who's in Africa
Oh, that's
who
cool.
interviews authors. And,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of making the rounds a little bit, Nicole, but I think the best place to go is my website.
Okay, I'll make sure to put it in the synopsis
Okay,
so people can just click it and then they can
right.
take it to you, and then they get to see all your super cool dance pictures, which I love,
Okay.
uh, which are really, really cool. I want to thank you again because this has been
Oh,
delightful, and I got to ask all my dance questions, which makes me happy. Um,
yes.
and hope, and then when the second book comes out in O'Connor's, we're gonna have to talk again because
Okay.
it's right up. Like I said, I'm in it to win it now, especially with a football based.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. That's
thank
good.
you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. This has been fun.
See, what did I say? Amazing. She's so nice, so friendly. I wish we all had cats that could have been in the videos, but all our cats decided to be shy, which never happens. But I'm really excited to check out her Missing Mom book and also the sequel to Missed Q, which I really enjoyed reading. For my book recommendations for the week, it's not really recommendations, it's books that I'm reading right now, which, as I say in the video, or in the interview, that I'm reading a couple on NetGalley right now, and I love The Murder at the Orpheum Theater. But I think I've talked about Anna Lee Huber before, A Deceptive Composition, because her next Lady Darby is on NetGalley, and I really want it, so I want to get through this one first. For next week's interview, I'm reading Mimi Lee Gets a Clue by Jennifer Chow. I'm hoping to get through that before next weekend, which I should. It shouldn't be a big deal. Bathroom book, Death in Cornwall, Daniel Silva. It's the Gabrielle Allon mysteries. You know, it is what it is. It's not great. It's not bad. It's entertaining. I just got through Iron Flame, so I'm waiting. I'm on the list at the library to get the Onyx Storm, and I just finished book one. What's it called? In the Way of Kings, Brandon Sanderson, and I got the second book, but that's 1,000 pages. We gotta parse that one out. What else can I tell you? In regards to things that are going on in the future, March is going to be a big month. March 8th, the Abington Library is having a local author book fair. So if you're in the Abington, Massachusetts area, swing by. I'll be updating my website this weekend with the date, with the information. I think in April, I'm doing one at the Weymouth Library. So it's another fun one to come meet other authors and especially local ones. Uh, Malice Domestic, we talked about it in the video. And hopefully onesie twosies events here and there. Nothing 100% planned, but hopefully this past weekend I was at the Abington Library talking to the South Shore Writers Group, and they were amazing and so nice. So I thank Teresa for inviting me, and I got to talk to everybody and I kind of yapped a lot. I spilled my iced tea on my way in, so I was very bummed about that. So yeah, so if you're interested in having me come to your library or your bookstore, just reach out and I can chitty chat with people. I'm really good at driving places, so if you're within driving distance, I will totally come. If it's a flying distance, that might be a little harder because I'm a little anxious about flying. But yeah, so, and I know you're all like, Nicole, you've been promising book three. Well, due to some issues with my current publisher, I've decided to part ways with Panda Moon Publishing. And in that regard, since they hadn't done a ton of work on book three, they gave me the rights back. So I am working with Verena Rose at Level Best Books in hopes that they will take me on for the next couple of books in the series. And so we'll see. I'm hoping still this year, but you never know. I am about 4,500 words into book four, and one of the things Rena, when she was talking to me about books, is she said, "Oh, send me like the next three books in the series, the synopsis." And I was like, "I've just started writing book four. Like I don't even know where I'm gonna get." And so it was kind of a fun exercise in, what would the next couple of books in the series be like? So the general idea is fleshed out. The books are not written yet, and hopefully I'll get to writing those. I have off on Fridays, which is great, so I've been going at least writing for an hour on Fridays when I can, when I'm not at home crafting and reading a gajillion books that are in my pile. um, and other than that, there is no other updates. So if you like, if you like my books, hopefully there'll be more. And hopefully, if you follow me on my social media, not on TikTok because it's going to be banned or whatever, I am on, Facebook, Instagram, which sucks because they're also equally as bad now. But that one's a little bit harder to cut the cord than Twitter was. Blue Sky, I'm Blue Sky. I think I'm Nicole Aslan, just regular on there. So you can find me on Blue Sky. And just keep finding me, guys, because I like to be found. And on that note, happy reading and go Red Sox. See you next week.